Yes, I see you standing at the doorway. Just because I'm reading a book, that doesn't mean I don't notice you when you're there. Were you interested in more myth talk? Alright, come on, get comfy. So, this time I was reading up on some classics that most people know from Greek mythology. This time it was Nyx and Erebus, which I'm sure you might have heard of before. Nyx is the primordial goddess of the night, and she came from the void before all of creation existed. All of creation being, the planets and the like. While other deities in the pantheon usually had parents, Nyx was one of the few who did not. She existed as an eternal, self-sustaining force, and she was neither created nor dependent on any other deity. She was a foundational source of darkness in the Greek pantheon, and although not an active agent of chaos, she is the necessary void from which all light and order emerge from. Yeah, even though she is the void herself, she's still associated with light, which is kind of cool, huh? Anyway, she is the first and most fundamental force in Greek mythology. Unlike other deities like Eos, the dawn, or Hecate, the crossroads of light and dark, she operates outside the cycle of creation and destruction, and remains the unchanging foundation upon which all other cosmic forces rest. And without Nyx, we wouldn't have any darkness, contrast, and if that didn't exist, then neither would light, as it would have nowhere to emerge from. Erebus is the personification of darkness itself, and he was born from Nyx. He is specifically described as the child of Nyx, who emerged from her womb as a natural extension of her. While other deities in the Greek pantheon create and destroy, Erebus exists solely as the embodiment of the void that follows night. He is not a separate entity or an active force or anything like that. In Isoldos, or Hesiod, as you might know him, in his Theogony, which was a poem about the genealogy or the birth of the gods, he states Erebus lives in the shadow of Nyx and is the darkness of the night. His role, of course, being quiet and unchanging. He is the darkness that exists within Nyx's domain. Excluding this reference on his origin, however, Erebus is never mentioned again, really. His existence is, of course, a necessary existence as well. He is the foundational darkness that allows light to have meaning. So without him, Nyx's night would be incomplete. Isoidos described him as the silent, eternal counterpart to Nyx, being the essential shadow that structured the cosmos. And unlike other gods associated with night, he is not associated with things like the underworld or the cycle of life and death and so on. He is just the darkness that is the night, a passive force without agency or purpose beyond being that and nothing else. Without him, the duality of light and dark would not function. They're both pretty neat figures, like with most Greek mythology, in my opinion. Oh, I know I didn't touch on this, but both Nyx and Erebus have no, physical form. Their names and roles in the pantheon are that of night and darkness, so they don't have a physical shape or representation, which is pretty cool. They're one of the few entities in mythology that are like this. Still, did you have fun? Well, as always, I'm glad that you did. Greek myth is one of my favorites, and it's something that I've always enjoyed ever since I was a kid. So it's neat revisiting these figures every now and again. But I'll keep researching more, and I'll let you know what I find next time. So until then, see you for now, my little pupil.